I am really kind of having a lot of fun today. I am participating in an owner-assisted annual on what Kelly calls my mistress. Anyway, this episode I want to introduce you to Bruce Dance. He is a certified flight instructor, certified flight with instruments, a multi-engine instructor. He's a crop duster for a living. His son is a very accomplished pilot, and we have a great conversation. It's mostly about planes, a little bit about Christianity, but it's a great conversation. You're really going to enjoy getting to know Bruce, and I thank you very much for watching and listening. We're cleared for takeoff.
Well, I'm glad I looked down. Everybody, I'm here with Bruce Dance. He is a CFI that I got to meet because I had a Lance that I needed help with. And you've been an aviator for pretty much your whole life.
Yeah, since I was 14. I had an older brother, Mike, that got his license, and we'd be flying around Atlanta, and we landed at a place just west of Griffin, Georgia, and that had a glider operation. And you can solo a glider when you're 14, so I did that. And
how many hours of instruction did you get in a glider before you soloed it?
About, I think it was like 7.5 hours. And I was a dumb 14-year-old kid. I didn't know north, south, east, west. But they had, and this is where we'll go to in a little while, they had a method. They could have taught a monkey how to do this, seriously. Yeah. They had such a strong method to fly that glider that even a dumb kid like me could do it and be successful at it. And but that was the coolest thing. I love flying gliders because it is a challenge to stay up. You learn to ride the thermals, and in South Georgia, that's all you got is thermals. But then we would, later on when I bought my own glider, we go up to the Sequatchie Valley in Tennessee and do ridge soaring and all that in thermals.
Now, how often in a glider do you end up putting it down where you don't want to put it down?
I just go airport to airport, and so when I was a kid learning, we were in Schweitzers, like a 233 or 126. That was a single seater. And I think their glide ratio was like 26-1 or something.
Pretty good.
Well, it's okay. Compared to my glider when I got older, I bought a glass flugel Mosquito, and it was a 41-1 glide ratio. Wow. That's like, so I'd gotten out of gliders for a while and did the power plane stuff and got all my licenses and tickets. And I went back and got my commercial and gliders, and I bought a fiberglass, 15-meter ship, and it was like having a motor compared to what I learned in.
Okay, so you say you go airport to airport, and so let's say a guy is gliding out of Pittsburgh. He ends up in Lamar.
Right.
Who tows him? Does he have to call the guy in Pittsburgh, say, hey, fly over?
Yeah, if it's short and the tow plane pilot's not busy, they'll come over there and get you and just tow you back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, or...
And will you land the glider behind them?
No.
Oh, no, okay.
Release,
they'll get you up again.
And you pull you all the way back to the airport if you want, and... Or you can have your crew come with your truck and trailer and take it apart and put it back in the trailer. Because most of the time when you have, like when we had our gliders, you took those apart every day, every time you flew them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and you keep them in a trailer. And it's not that hard,
Huh, man. Well, I hear about it, but I've never even seen a glider.
It's a lot of fun, and if you like sailing on the water, this is even more incredible than that because you're relying on lift, atmospheric conditions to keep you up, but then after that we got into hang gliding, which is like the same. I was saying when you were asking about landing out, you got to have a crew come get you, or a tow plane come get you back. With a hang glider, you can land anywhere and just pack the thing up. Now it is 70 pounds or so, and throw it on your shoulder and walk out to a road or whatever so somebody can pick you up.
Wow.
So you can do that by yourself without having a big crew. Your wife can come pick you up. We're taking apart a Mosquito or a 15-meter fiberglass. You're going to have some fairly strong guys to help you carry that out of the field, get it to the trailer, and take the wings off and stuff like that. So.
And have you towed gliders?
No, I haven't. I've never done that.
Okay.
Yeah, and I should have, but yeah, I've never done that.
And how about helicopters?
Nope, I haven't done that. I've ridden them a few times, but to me, there's just too many moving parts.
There is a lot in there. And
Yeah.
are you an A&P as well?
No, I'm not.
Okay, all right. So I know you're now working on your Cessna, and I've seen your hands covered in grease, so I thought maybe.
Yeah. No, that's Zach is putting a new cylinder on for me, our mechanic, and Zach, if you're watching this, hurry up, man. I want to go flying.
Yeah, Zach's a busy man.
Yeah, he is.
He
He
does
is.
all of our stuff as well.
Yeah,
And,
he's good.
yeah, I really like him.
Yeah.
So, sorry to digress here. So you became a CFI at 20. Did you make a living teaching?
No, I didn't. Our family, my dad had started a printing company in '74.
Okay.
And my brother and I worked there, forever. And he passed away in '99, and we ran it from there. But we sold it in 2010.
Okay. And that's when
And,
you came out of this part of the world. And that's when you moved to Missouri?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Well, not exactly. That's when I started flying ag. But we didn't move out here until about 7 or 8 years later. And anyhow, but the printing industry was just phenomenal for the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Not so much after 2000, like technology changed, and we changed with it, but it got to be not what we were interested in so much. It was more computer, and we were more hands-on craftsman type, and so we ended up selling the business and reinventing ourselves. And I had gotten my son. I've been teaching him to fly since he was 11, and he got into ag aviation when he was 20, and so he had been doing it about 2 years. And we sold our company. I had to reinvent myself, and he sort of paved the way for me to get into it.
Nice.
And it was really cool because he was my ag instructor and my aerobatic instructor. So I said he'd gotten the pits, and
And did you guys work air shows?
no, he
Just
wants to. He wants to, but he still wants to. But I like doing my stuff at 6,500 feet because things do go wrong, and air show pilots do die. And
Sure.
I think.
But you're also a crop duster.
Yeah, I am an ag pilot.
They don't do things at 6,500 feet.
No, we don't. But it's after you get used to it, I feel more comfortable in my air tractor spraying than I do driving down the freeway.
Well, okay.
Because it's all it's all you. You can't blame anything on somebody else making a mistake. It's you.
Right.
But in those first 2 or 3 years crop dusting, and I've been flying my whole life, but I didn't start crop dusting until I was 51.
Wow.
And I had a lot of experience because we had a lot of tailwheel time and all that. But those first few years of crop dusting, you don't know what you don't know, and it's just by the grace of God you get through it. And you need a good mentor to keep you alive during those first few years.
Even with 10,000 hours, huh?
Oh yeah. Well, I didn't have 10,000 hours back then, but I do now. But I probably only had 1,000 hours or so.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When I started crop dusting,
Oh, wow.
and because
So-
we'd go on and
So
off.
even in 30 years of flying, you hadn't made more than 1,000 hours?
No, because we would for a span there we would have. I probably didn't log a lot of it, but for a span we would go for phases where we weren't flying. We'd be flying hang gliders.
Okay.
We did that for 10 years and barely flew airplanes. you know.
Okay. All right.
And we get back into it and bought some airplanes. And I guess when my kids started getting older, we got back into aviation, when they could learn to fly.
Okay.
And so, I guess Brett was about 10 or 11 when we got a Cub. I mean, my brother did. And basically started teaching him in that. And then we sold that and got a Citabria. And that was Brett's little sports car. After he soloed in that, he got out and Then we also had a Cardinal, Cessna Cardinal.
Right.
We started an aerial photography business because that really just dovetailed right into printing. We had all the equipment to do it, and so that worked out really good. That's how Brett billed all his hours and time, and got all his licenses doing the aerial photography.
Okay.
And that's a great way to build time if you are a new pilot, because you don't have to be a commercial pilot to do aerial photography.
Is that a much of a business anymore?
Probably not anymore with the drones, but what we did mostly is not the satellite images that you see, but we would do construction photos,
Right.
progress. Because if Home Depot's building a Home Depot, they have to show the progress on it. They have to show their lenders what they spent the money on. And anyhow, so every month we'd be going around to these different sites and just taking 4 shots from around the property.
So you guys didn't take pictures of farms and then try to sell them?
No, we didn't do that.
Okay.
We tried that a little bit, but that was too time consuming and not that profitable. So we stuck with the progress photos and did pretty well with it. Brett was flying around as a student pilot all over the Southeast taking pictures, and he was,
Get lots and lots of hours.
a lot of hours, a lot of time, a lot of communication skills, and because you have to work with ATC to get into some of these places.
Wow. And this was before he even had his license.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Man,
and then
how cool is that?
as he got up and got his license and everything, he could go into, because in Atlanta we were under that Class Bravo airspace, and many times he had to get in there around Hartsfield and some really serious airspace.
Did you ever land at Hartsfield?
Yeah, I've landed there. Back when I was a kid, and picking my instructor up, he had a flight coming in, and I just flew down there, picked him up, and came out. And it was pretty.
Is that still doable for GA?
It's hard as I got older and we tried to shoot some approaches there. Even going at 11 o'clock at night, they're like, man, we don't have time, So, but they actually would, if we needed a photo one time, it was right between the 4. They just had 4 runways going east and west back then. And they actually let us go in and take a progress shot right in between those 4 runways, about a mile from the airport.
Wow.
They literally, split
traffic for you.
split the traffic for us and let us get in. So
How cool.
that was pretty neat. You had to be pretty quick and go do it and get out.
Yeah.
But they really worked with you pretty good. So
All right. Well, so I met you because I bought a Lance, a T-tail Lance.
right.
And I needed to find a CFI that had Lance time. And I had thought you had worked in a 135 school that had a Lance.
No, my instructor had a Lance.
Okay.
And he had a 135 operation.
Okay.
And I did get to fly the Lance a lot. So
Okay.
and I would teach in that. And
Lancelot.
yeah, Lancelot. I actually took my commercial and CFI check rides in that Lance. Because
Was
back
it
then you had to
a
have
straight
the
tail
height
or a
for it.
T-tail?
T-tail, turbocharged. Yeah,
Okay.
It was
Very similar to mine, just I didn't have a turbo.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, I remember vividly, all my time had been in Cody's little plane,
Yeah.
which is that Dakota. Well, or it's like a Cherokee, 235.
Right.
And we went out to Wichita and we're headed back, and it seemed like we were 200 feet above the ground. I know we weren't, but
Yeah.
it was rough, and we were so close to the ground, and you were just as calm as could be. And I'm thinking, well, that's just what it's like learning with a crop duster,
Yeah.
But I finally got rid of that Lance, and now I have a 206.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that the other day. That was a really nice airplane.
Yeah,
I bet you like that a lot better than the Lance.
a lot better.
Yeah.
You know,
and I
that-
think it's a lot safer.
yes.
You probably got lower stall speeds and
Lower stall speed, a lot more power.
Yeah.
This is the same motors, the 540 fuel injected,
Right.
Lycoming, but the Lance wasn't turbo, and so I even landed at Leadville one time, which they give you a certificate if you land out there.
or your 206 is turbo. Or-
206 is turbo,
Okay, yeah, the Lance was not, but your
Was not,
yeah, 206 is turbo. Yeah.
but there was a few times with the Lance, the landing gear. It's a 1978 plane, and so landing gear on an old plane is just it's complicated.
right.
And so there was a few times where I'd have to call either the FBO or the tower and have them watch me do a go round just to make sure my gear was down.
Right.
And if you guys are looking into getting into aviation, your wife will not like that. Just
Yeah,
in case you're wondering.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, does your wife fly?
You know, she used to before we were married and when we were early married. But then when we had kids, she just kind of got claustrophobic when she'd get into an airplane.
Okay.
And anyhow, well, she's flown with us a few times, and the kids like to fly, of course. But she still, I think she'll go up. When we had our Cessna 170, she flew with me once in that, just around the pattern.
Okay.
And so I'm hoping, because I got that Cessna 140 now, I'm hoping she'll fly with me in that. So,
But she's not a pilot then?
no.
Okay.
No.
All right.
And my daughter, as I was saying, she is not a pilot, but she is a trauma nurse, and now she's a flight nurse on a helicopter. So that's pretty cool. She really loves that. So.
And is she older or younger than Brent?
She's younger.
But she didn't want to learn to fly as a kid, or?
No, yeah, she didn't, and it was really funny. I'd make her go flying with me every once in a while because she didn't want to stop playing, and
Right.
and she was about 11 years old, and we were leaving the airport, and she had a good time, and I was saying, well, Rachel, I can start teaching you to fly, So I started teaching Brett when he was about 11. I mean, you're old enough to learn how to do this now. And she looked at me real serious, and she said, Dad, maybe if you have another son, he would like to learn to fly, but I'm just really not that interested.
Oh, man.
But now she tells me, she goes, man, I really
should have.
I really wish I would have learned to fly. She actually took the written just a couple of years ago, and because she thought, man, I'm going to learn to fly. She made a 98 on it or something like that.
Wow.
Then I grilled her. I said, oh, well, she's just a good test taker, I grilled her on some hard questions, and she actually knew the answers probably better than I did.
Does she live out here as well?
No, she's in Atlanta.
Okay.
But in the off season, we maybe take the 140 out there and teach her to fly.
So the off season is now because you're still an ag pilot.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
And do you own your tractor?
No.
No,
I fly
so
other people's.
Okay. So you just hire your services.
Right.
And is it hard to find work?
No, but what's really cool with ag is you can make it anything you want it to be. You can take a long seat and you take a year-round seat where they fly just about every day of the year, or every month of the year, and or you can go for a couple of months and do a corn run, and so I've done both. I like to work, so the one thing I don't like about a corn run is short. You can make good money, but
For 6 weeks or something.
yeah, I still like to fly all year.
Right.
And because I've only been doing this 15 years, and I love it.
The ag, you mean?
The ag, yeah. I've
Okay.
only been flying ag for 15 years, and I really love it. So I don't want to quit. People, my friends, and they're all retiring. Oh, can you retire? I'm like, I could, but I'd go insane. I want to keep working. I want to keep doing something.
Right.
And that's why I like to teach in the off season. It keeps me going, gives me something to do, and I really enjoy teaching. I've come up with a lot of methods to teach people. I think I save people a lot of time and money.
Well, I was with you for 15 hours, whatever the insurance required, and I learned so much. It was incredible.
Well, it's really fun, and like I say, when I first became an instructor when I was 20, I was a good pilot, but I had no idea how I did what I did. So it was obviously hard to translate that to somebody. I'd say, I'd land the airplane. I'd say, okay, now you do it. I gave them no guidance at all. It was horrible. And, that's the hard thing about aviation. Your least experienced pilots are the ones teaching the new pilots.
Yep.
It doesn't make sense. So if you can find an old instructor that's been flying and actually done something, he's probably going to be able to save you a lot of time and money.
Right.
There's a lot of misconceptions out there, and with instructors, they're new pilots, they don't know, and they teach these things. And
And they teach what they just learned out of the textbook. They don't have experience to back it up, but they're just trying to build hours.
Right, and they're not interested in teaching you, frankly.
And it has really kept the cost of education down in aviation,
Right.
because a 20-year-old kid with no bills and just trying to build hours is almost willing to do it for the cost of fuel.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
And,
okay. Well, so before we leave this topic, you were talking about the method that they had in the glider.
Right.
And so, what was their method that was so amazing?
It was great. They had some artist painted on a 4x8 sheet of plywood, and it was attached to the wall. They painted the airstrip as a grass strip, and they painted the landmarks, a little house here and there and whatever. And then they put what altitude and airspeed you needed to be at each of those points. So it was just easy to follow those because you were familiar with these landmarks. It's like, all right, I enter downwind here at 600 feet. I fly to this house, and I should be at 400 feet.
And the speed.
And turn base. And I go to this next house, and I turn final at 200 feet. And you have your spoilers cracked the whole time, about half on. And spoilers are great. Really, airplanes ought to have spoilers. I mean, you could put the thing on a dime anytime, so anyhow, as you're flying the pattern, you're flying the whole pattern with half spoilers. So if you get a little bit low before you get to this point where you're supposed to be at 400 feet and turning base, well, you just relax the spoilers a little bit, And it was just foolproof. And they had other methods too, visuals in the air and stuff like that I have incorporated in my little tool here.
Right.
That I'll show you. It just became automatic to visually fly the airplane and control the airplane because you didn't know anything else, and you didn't have any instruments per se except for an airspeed indicator, and that's about it, and a compass. But
so those are the only two instruments in the glider?
you got a vario to tell you how fast you're going up and down. Now gliders are pretty complex.
G1000?
Yeah, I mean, just about. Yeah, well, they got glide. I mean, even hang gliders. On our hang gliders, we had, what they call them, total energy probes. In other words, they won't indicate a stick thermal. Say if you're doing, say if you're on a glider, and you're cruising between thermals at a higher airspeed than what you would do when you're thermaling. Say you're doing 80 miles an hour or so, and you just pull the stick up. Well, this total energy probe will indicate you're not in lift. You just pulled up, and we're going up, but it's not because we hit a thermal. It's just because you pulled up. So I'm not going to indicate to you that we're in a climb, and it's really cool. And now they're way more sophisticated than that. But we have that stuff.
Way back then.
Yeah, back then, and then even on hang gliders, a handheld instrument is just phenomenal,
Sure.
So, it's pretty cool. So so if you hit a thermal that's 500 feet a minute, it's going to end a total energy. It'll say, hey, now you got 500 feet a minute, turn, yeah, and you core that thermal and you go up, and then when you get as high as you want to go, you just go on to put the nose down and start going.
Now, how long could you keep a glider in the air?
Oh, hours. You need to go to the bathroom before you got to land, and hang glider the same way,
Huh.
And the hang glider is the same challenge. It's just in a shorter distance. Going 10 miles on a hang glider is, a challenge, where in a sailplane, you can have no lift and go 10 miles in no time. Huh. And my sailplane, man, I'd get up in South Georgia and get to cloud base, maybe 5,000 feet or so, and you have a cloud street. And if you ever notice, I don't know if you know what a cloud street is, but the wind will line up the cumulus clouds in a straight line. And if you look, I mean, the upper winds are going to be probably a little bit different than they are here on the ground, because as you go up, the winds will turn to the right.
Coriolis effect.
So, yeah, and ground effect, or lack of. But anyway, so it'll line those clouds up. And you get up to cloud base, and you just put that nose down. I've been doing 100 miles an hour right under the clouds and just going because you're in pretty strong lift and you're just going cloud to cloud. And so you can cover a lot of distance.
Wow.
So it's
pretty cool.
Sailplanes are very cool. Yeah.
Are there any around here?
You know, I've kind of looked here and there. I think there is, not too far away. But, you know, back then, things were different. The economy was different. People are working so much now. Like I say, when I was a kid, we would take all Saturday, and we had hobbies. We'd go down there. We'd fly Mike's Veronica down there, and we'd stay the day. And it was almost like a club, but it wasn't a club. And everybody, if it's your turn to fly, then, you know, I'm out there hooking you up and running your wing and stuff like that. We just made a whole day out of it. It takes a lot of time, and it takes a crew, it takes a lot of people, and so it's not that popular in the U.S. anymore. You know, in Europe it's really popular, probably still. But
And you think this is a internet and people on their phone and video game thing?
yeah, and people don't have the time. People are working so much, they don't have time to spend all Saturday to go do this. And you know, the printing industry, and really, we had a middle class back then, and we'd work our 40 or 50 hours a week, and we were free after that. My brother and I did triathlons. We had lots of hobbies that took a lot of time, but still,
Made a living.
we made a living, and we had time to spend our money and time with family that people just don't have now. It's that printing business was a blessing. I tell you, that was for 35 years.
It was great, huh?
It was a great business.
What did you guys print?
Stationery, envelopes, some quick copy. We did. We moved into, as we grew. We had a 5-color Heidelberg direct-to-plate imaging. So we were competitive in full color.
How about
Up to about 20,000.
how about books?
Books, not so much. Saddle stitch booklets and things like that.
Okay.
We were real good and competitive on that. But we just had a great business, and you could do it at any time. So if it was a good hang gliding day, you could just, say, hey man, let's go hang gliding, and we'll leave the shop, and we didn't need to be there, and we get back and do it at night or whatever, but
Right.
Or in the weekend, and so it was a phenomenal business. I don't know many people in that position anymore.
Right. I have a brother-in-law that still runs a print shop.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
him and Kelly's sister, Kathy, Rob and Kathy. And his dad had it, and he's had it, and they've kept it alive.
Yeah.
And they have some very expensive presses, and they stay busy. But what really is their big thing is the election season.
Yeah.
So they are really good at doing a very, very high quality
Political stuff, yeah.
political stuff, and doing it fast.
Yeah. Yeah. We did a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So every 2 years they have this harvest, if you will.
Right. Yeah.
And they work themselves 80-hour weeks for those
Yeah.
maybe a couple months, but
Right.
it makes the rest of their year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good business.
It's still going, and it's Olathe, Kansas, and I've heard for 10 years, boy, I don't know how much longer this will go, and then it just keeps going.
It was a great business for us. I tell you, it was a real blessing when our kids were young, because I had, we could do all this stuff. We could go, man, we could make our own hours at the shop, like I say. So we would swim in the morning, and training for triathlons, we'd swim in the morning, and at lunch, we'd go run, and then after work, we'd go ride our bikes. And I would still be home, because we'd start early, like 5 or 6 in the morning, and be at work by 6:30, 7, and but still
Still be
we'd
home
be
for
home
supper.
before some of our corporate neighbors were home.
Right.
And we had more time with our kids, and we lived only about 4 miles from the gate at Stone Mountain Park in Georgia.
Okay.
That's just east of Atlanta.
And what is that? Is that
It's the largest exposed piece of granite in the world, actually.
Oh,
It's
okay.
about 800 feet high, and you can hike up it. And they had a train going around it, and trails going around it, and it's just an awesome place. I mean, every day, just about, we go over to Stone Mountain and go hiking or do something. You fly a kite off the top of it, or
Okay.
it was great. So yeah, I
you had
had a
a-
lot of playtime.
A great career, and your kids had a great childhood.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
So yeah, which is hard now, and that's why being an ag pilot when you're young is pretty tough. That's, I didn't, like I say, I didn't start flying ag till I was 51, and it requires a lot of time away from home. My kids are already grown, and that worked out, but my son struggles with that because
Sure.
he is away from home, and he's got two young kids.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So I want to talk about your thing, which is different than what you had before. You had a plastic.
yeah, a little
deal?
stick.
A stick, right.
It was really a clamp that, like a wood clamp that clamps onto the
Dashboard.
the dash of or the glare shield of an airplane. It worked really good. That was a really good. My first version was really good. Version 2.0, I made it too complicated. It wasn't very good, and so I abandoned that. But version 3.0,
Yep.
it's
Okay, so
going to
now,
be good.
what do you call this thing?
I call it a visual attitude indicator.
All right.
And what we'll do in the airplane is this suction cup here. I'll stick it to the top of the windshield.
Okay.
And then I'm going to attach this to the glare shield, so it's holds it kind of taut there. And then you can see these little sliders are just little shoelace things here. You can push the button and move them in different positions. And each one of these is going to represent a different a pitch attitude and an airspeed, because for every airspeed there's a pitch attitude and a power setting that'll give you that. And if you know what it is and you pitch for that and you set the power for that, then it's going to make learning to fly very, very easy. So I can put this down now. I can explain it visually or verbally, I think. So after you hang this thing right in front of the student, it's got to be right between their eyes.
Okay.
And right there, about even with the glare shield. And I think there's 5 attitudes that every pilot ought to know, like in an instant, memorized. And that pitch attitude, say for best rate of climb, VY, you need to know what the pitch attitude is for that, and you probably do. As a pilot, I'm sure you pitch to that all the time and haven't really thought about how to teach this, but a student pilot will not know what the pitch attitude ought to be. If you use this tool here and move one of those sliders to the attitude where the horizon, and put it right on the horizon in that pitch attitude with full power, the power setting that gives you the airspeed that you need, then you can just automatically, just pitch to their full power, and you're going to get that performance that you're looking for. Kind of hard to explain without being in the airplane, but
We're always taught to look at the sight picture, if you will. And so you're looking at your glare shield, looking at the horizon, or like if you're in a turn, you're supposed to look at your screw on the glare shield or your bug on the windshield, whatever you have.
Right.
And that's what these are.
that's exactly what it is. And it's not a new concept. It's just a different way to look at it. And in the old days, they used to use a grease pencil and put a little mark on the windshield. But if your student's in 172 or something, chances are he's going to have to lean forward to make that mark, and that's going to mess up his perspective,
Right.
So this way, they can just reach it, and it's right here.
And move it there.
Right.
And so what are the five different ones you need? Okay.
All right, friends. Well, you guys heard us talking about Zach and there's Bryce. I think he's awake. Well, I'm actually getting to be part of an owner-assisted annual. And Zach is the gentleman right there, McGuire Aviation. He rebuilt the last motor I had on the Lance, and now he's working on the Cessna. And he and Bryce, they go everywhere. It is very, very hard to find these guys not working and holding still. So if, if you need an A&P and an IA, you should check out McGuire Aviation here at Kilo Lima Lima Uniform in Lamar, Missouri.
The 5 attitudes they need to know are VX, VY, best glide, straight and level, and then VREF, which would be final approach with everything down, ready to land.
Okay.
And it is so easy to teach somebody to fly when you use this. If you read the books and everything, it uses the word sight picture all the time. Look at your sight picture. Look at most people. What am I looking at? The trees? I don't know. What do
Right.
I'm trying to memorize this photograph. But they don't know what they're looking for.
Right.
So if you say, okay, put the horizon on, then I can just lean over and point to one of those.
So put the horizon on yellow, put it on red, put it on green.
Yeah, and they can say, okay, right there it is. And I'll say, okay, now I'll use full power. And they're going to get the airspeed that gives them best rate of climb.
What have you found whenever you take that away after they've learned?
Well, once they learn the concept, again, it's like.
So this is just a tool to get them there. It's not something they'll need forever.
Right, but it's really handy, and it's really handy for not just student pilots, but people learning to fly from the right seat to be an instructor.
Right.
Oh, it's great. How about multi-engine? You need to know these attitudes and know exactly where they are. Say if you're VYSC, single engine best rate of climb. What's blue line speed? You need to be able to know that pitch attitude right away. And also best glide speed in a single engine. And the engine quits. What do you do? One of my pet peeves, I got a lot of pet peeves, but one of them is as an instructor, you're teaching, you're doing flight reviews or whatever, and you pull the engine on somebody. Well, if you're doing 120 miles an hour and then somebody cuts the engine off and you say, well, I know best glide is 65. So they sit there and they stare at the airspeed indicator until they get 65. Well, it's going to take a long time to get 65, where you could be looking for a place to land and turn into it, and or finding out what's the problem here,
Right.
But they stare at that airspeed indicator until they get to 65, and it's like, man, we've lost 1,000 feet,
Right.
But if you know what that pitch attitude is, you can just set it. Boom.
So you're doing 120 knots. You set it at that pitch attitude, and it will go to 65 while you're looking for your field to land.
Exactly. You give it a couple of turns on the trim, but then you just know that pitch attitude's there, and you could be doing something else.
All right.
And much faster. Short field takeoffs. Another one of my pet peeves. Saying on 172, kind of go by memory here on the airspeeds, but say if they say rotate at 50 knots and best angle of climb is 59.
Okay.
Well, people will rotate and they'll do it in kind of a slow manner, and by the time they get to VX, they're pitching up to VX, but they're doing it slowly. They're waiting to get 59 VX before they actually pitch up. So the right way to do it is to rotate at 50 to the attitude, VX attitude, and at 50 feet you will be at VX. So if you know the pitch attitude and the power setting that gives you VX, the performance that you want, then even if you're going slower than VX, it's going to accelerate to VX.
Okay.
So you're wasting a lot of time if you rotate and lift off and wait for 59 and then start pitching up.
Does the book tell you to fly in ground effect to VX?
That's another one of my. That's for a soft field takeoff.
Okay, soft field.
Another one of my pet peeves. When I was chief out there in Atlanta. I had a lot of instructors, and I would have to do stage checks for their students. And for their commercial guys or CFI guys, I would say, okay, let's do a soft field takeoff. So they'd get out there, and we used an arrow back then because you had to have a complex airplane, and for your commercial or your CFI. So we used an arrow. Best rate of climb was, I believe, 92. It's pretty fast.
Pretty fast, yeah.
You know? It's pretty hard to get an arrow.
What's rotation?
70, 65, 70.
So you need
like
a
that.
lot of runway.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And, but anyhow, so they get out there and they would rotate, they get it off the ground early, and then they would keep lowering the nose and stay in ground effect. But it was just me. I'm 150 pounds, and just them, they're probably my size or a little bit heavier, and half tanks of gas, you know.
Right.
So nowhere near, gross weight. So anyhow, they would get it off the ground okay, but then they'd start pushing forward. They're waiting for 92. We're 3 feet off the ground. They're having to do everything they can. They're pushing so hard on that yoke to keep that thing from flying. I say, what are you doing? I have to
wait for VX.
Wait for VX or VY in ground effect. And if you read the ACS, it kind of says that.
Right.
It's in the wrong order. It says, the student must maintain, or must accelerate to VY or VX in ground effect. But then the very next line under that, it says the student's got to maintain the pitch attitude for VY or VX.
Can't do both.
So yeah, you can't do both. And it's really in the wrong order. They need to put the other line first, But so what they do is they hold that thing down to 92, and that arrow, I don't even know if it'll do 92 with the gear down. And I don't know if we use 10 or 20 degrees flaps or whatever. And ground effect, they're burning up a 6,000 foot runway trying to get to the thing, and then they'll start going. I said, look, no, you don't need to do that. What you do is you get it off the ground. You might be doing 30 or 40, especially on a 172, 30 or 40, and then you lower the nose to where VX is or VY. And the airplane will tell you when it needs to come out of ground effect. You don't know. And it's like the airplane will let you know. In other words, if it's just me and you and half tanks, well, that arrow, even an arrow, after lowering we're lowering the nose to VX, it's probably already climbing out. And so let it climb. And I have an instructor, oh, you can't do that. You can't do this. No, that's how you do it, And they said, oh, you're supposed to. I said, well, let's go out and do a normal takeoff. And I put them in a 172. Let's go do a normal takeoff. So on a normal takeoff, you would rotate at 54, and are you climbing out?
Oh yeah, this thing. So
yeah, you bet you are.
This thing's doing, and especially if it's just me practicing.
Right.
I'm doing 1,500 feet a minute, just like that.
Right.
So I'm wondering, and also, okay, so this is what I am doing, and you can tell me if this is not right. I'm taking off and I'm getting to 500 feet, and then taking my manifold pressure down to the top of the green arc.
Okay.
So it goes to 39 inches.
Right.
And then the top of the green arc is somewhere around 30, 29 something.
Right.
And so if I took off with your device, and I had, let's say, the yellow set for my VY, and I am at full power, and we're screaming. I mean, it feels like I am lifting off.
Right.
Would that be the same pitch attitude that I would have even whenever I bring it back to the top of the green arc?
Yes. It'll be a different airspeed, though. And that's the cool thing about this. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. But so my point being on the normal takeoff is you rotate at 54, okay, and you're pitching so you pitch for VY, and but you're not doing 90 yet.
No,
you're climbing out though.
Right.
Okay. So with that pitch attitude and that power setting, all right, you pitch for VY, the airplane will tell you, it'll tell you when it's going to come out of ground effect. Now, if you load that thing up, if not just you practicing, you load it up with your whole family and full tanks and everything, near gross weight, you do the same thing, will it be the same pitch attitude?
I think so.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah.
It will. And what's really, and
it'll just feel heavy.
It's still heavy, but
It'll-
what is going to be, now the airspeed will be the same. Okay, you'll still hit, if you hold that pitch attitude, and which for VY, let's say 90, you're going to do 90 by yourself with half tanks, or with your whole family in there with full tanks. That same pitch attitude is going to give you 90. You were saying you're going to get 1,500 feet a minute. I mean, you're going up like a rocket. Maybe you do 1,000 feet a minute or 800 feet a minute or something like that. You'd be climbing out a little flat. But that's still your pitch attitude for best rate of climb.
Okay.
And the way and I know you already know this. I know you probably already do this. And I did too in an ag plane. It hit me how to teach, and that's how I made this is I was flying a 602, and a 602 you have a light bar out there on the cowling, and with my height and everything, my best rate of climb with a full load was I put that light bar right on the horizon.
Okay.
And that was just an indicator to me that that's where I need to be to get my best rate of climb. And I started looking at that, and I was like, okay, that's with a full load. And a 602 weighs about 6,000 pounds empty.
Oh man, how many gallons is it?
So with 600 gallons on there, well, 6 times 8 is 48, so another 4,800 pounds. So you're close to 5,000 pounds, right?
Yeah.
And so a good ag plane will almost carry its own weight again in payload.
Wow.
And you got fuel, and so anyway, in this 602, it'd give me 90, okay, which was my best rate of climb. And it's not the real best rate of climb, but it was, what you needed. So anyhow, so I was pitching for 90, and it'd give me that every time. Now, if I took off empty and I went to that same pitch attitude, you would think you would be going faster, but you're not. I got 2 notches of flaps, taking off with 2 notches of flaps in this 602 with a full load, and I put the light bar right on the horizon and maintain that pitch attitude, and it'll give me 90 every time,
And
empty or full.
How many feet per minute?
That
changes.
When you're full, you're doing maybe a couple of 100 feet a minute, 200 feet a minute, maybe 300.
Okay.
But when you're empty, maybe you're doing 1,500 feet a minute.
All right.
But the pitch attitude is the same.
Interesting.
And it really is. It's like, this is how you can teach this, And anyhow, by using this method, though, I've sent high school girls on check rides with that, or my other version of it. And they do well with it. And I've had some students that were fired as students from some of the big flight schools because they haven't soloed in 75 hours.
Oh my.
And they were very highly intelligent people. These were not dumb guys. I mean, they're very highly intelligent, okay? They just didn't, the light bulb just hadn't gone off with them yet. And anyhow, but I love taking struggling students and making them successful. And I took them, and it's like when I showed them that, it's like, and then now they're instructors and probably flying for the airlines,
Wow.
And it's pretty cool. So I take a lot of pride in helping people get past their.
Well, I learned a ton from you, but I was also trying to learn a brand new airplane that was a lot different than what I knew.
Right.
And so, okay, so what if a person wants to learn how to fly with you? Is that still possible?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I just got a Cessna 140 for that particular reason. It's a tail wheel airplane.
Okay.
So
And have you taught a lot of people their initial flight training out of a tail wheel?
yes, I have. Yes,
Okay.
and it's just if you want to learn how to physically fly that airplane and really be a good stick and rudder pilot, you need a tail wheel airplane.
I've heard that's if you learn that. In fact, it's been recommended that you learn that first.
Yeah, it really, if you can just get your fundamental training done in a tail wheel, it's going to help you a lot.
So what about getting a tail wheel endorsement for somebody like me? You do that
Yep,
as well?
I'm doing that as well. And
How many hours do you think it'd take an average guy?
I think I can do most people, because I've taught a lot of people that have had no tail wheel experience, and 10 hours I think is plenty.
Okay.
And I'm going to offer a 10-hour, and I'm so confident in my method that I'm going to make it a guaranteed 10-hour course. You might do it less time. You don't have to go 10 hours if you do it in less than that. So I'm going to guarantee that they will have it, or I'll just keep training them until they get to the point where I sign them off.
How cool.
So, yeah. And
when does that start?
as soon as that gets my airplane back together.
Oh,
So,
very nice.
yeah.
And so do you have a cost on that yet?
It'll probably be around $2,200 total.
All
Which is, I think, a pretty fair price.
Yeah, well, that's 10 hours at $220 an hour would be, you renting an airplane, getting an instructor. That's definitely
It'll
reasonable.
be about $220 an hour or so, and total. And but this airplane also it's a light. I'll also be able to train light sport people that are light sport pilots and don't want to go on to their private. I think it'll be the perfect airplane for that.
How nice.
But
And you're moving to
Yes.
actually a runway.
right, Route 66 airport,
Man.
airfield, right there in Carthage, and so I'll be able to teach from there, or I can teach from many of the airports in the perimeter. They're like Monette or Joplin or Lamar or over at Kyman's. I can meet them there, or Mount Vernon.
All right. Now, how do they find you?
You go to my website. Two ways you can get there. BruceDance.com will get you there, or LearnToFlyMO.com.
Okay.
And you can find out a little bit more about me and how to contact me and all. So
All right. And is Brent still a part of that?
he will be, I'm sure, in the off season. He might be pretty busy this year, but
Yeah, because now he's firefighting as well.
yeah, he's going to be flying a Fire Boss this year, and
Is that one that scoops water?
yeah, a scooper, they call it a
Sheesh.
scooper. So he's pretty excited about that.
Has
Yeah,
he flown one yet?
No, he's flown a float plane with his friend that he's going to be flying the Fire Boss with, and he's kind of teaching him how to do it. And
That seems like that'd be there's gonna have to be some technique involved.
yeah, and from what we hear, it's flying a Fire Boss, and I don't know anything about it, but his friend Colby was saying, he goes, everything you learn in a Super Cub, getting your seaplane rating, is totally opposite in an air tractor. So yeah, those things actually, like I say, I'm not an expert on it. I just know what Colby's been telling us, but they won't. An 802 on floats with a full load, those floats won't hold it up. So when you come in and scoop, I mean, you got, I don't know how much power. I think they either got full power or a lot of power, and they're scooping that up. And so anyway, you couldn't scoop and then stop and then taxi over here. You got to
keep.
You got to be.
It is for sure a touch and go.
Right.
Every
It's
time.
for sure touch and go. You got to dump the load, one or the other. So
I'll be dang.
yeah.
Huh. Well, that's pretty exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to learning what he learns doing this.
Well, and I got my instrument through Brent, your son.
Right.
And so you trained me enough for me to get signed off on the Lance.
Right.
And then I went ahead with the commercial training with Brent because it was wintertime.
Yeah.
And I think Cody got his instrument through Brent as well.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I flew a little bit with both of you on the instrument, and then I had to leave, and then Brett took over, and yeah. So.
And now I'm going for my commercial. So
Oh, okay.
I'm
Awesome.
just getting signed off, and then I can And I've taken the written and passed it, and then I got to go get a check ride in. But
Yeah.
my plane has to start annual here in a couple of days. So once I'll have to wait for annual to get done before I can actually pursue the check ride.
Yeah. So if Zach does your annual before he gets mine flying, I'm going to be mad.
Well, don't be mad. Don't be mad. I'm hoping to do an owner assisted annual.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, I like to do that too. And that's
yeah.
what I do when he's worked on my plane because I like to see what's under there. And,
Yeah.
And I've learned a lot. He's taught me a lot. And Bryce is getting really good too.
Yep.
He's the one that found my cylinder. He said, "You got a cracked cylinder."
Oh,
So I said, "Bryce, I'm not going to let you look at my airplane anymore."
well, it's better to find it in the hangar than it is in the air.
Yeah. So,
Have you ever had any emergency events in the air?
when I was a kid, I guess right before I got my commercial, we had a Taylor craft, me and my brother, and it's like 50 years ago. But the airplane, he just put 2 new cylinders on it. So we had to get it over to Peachtree DeKalb from Stone Mountain Airport. Had to fly it over to Peachtree DeKalb Airport. And I was just about to go from a commercial check ride, and he said, "Why don't you fly? We'll do a flight of 2 over into PDK, because our Taylor craft didn't have a radio." I said, "Okay." So I was in the Taylor craft. I take off first. He takes off behind me, and he said, "Yeah, I saw you get up." I got up about 1,000 feet, and he said, "Then I started seeing you go down." He said, "I knew that wasn't good." And between Stone Mountain and Peachtree DeKalb, if anybody's familiar with that area, there's no place to land.
It's all ragged mountain.
It's subdivisions, not that mountain. It's subdivisions and industrial parks. But there's Stone Mountain Freeway coming out of Atlanta. It was 5:30 in the afternoon, but everybody was going out of town. There was hardly anybody going into town. And so I just landed with traffic, and everybody was great. The people in front of me kept going, and the people behind me slowed down. And it was really very easy. I just landed like on a runway and, just pushed it off into the median when I stopped. And I didn't even hardly make the news.
Oh, wow.
And I called the... who did I call? Probably the wrong people. Probably called the FAA. You should have called the NTSB, but there was no accident, no damage, nobody's hurt, nothing. And they said, "Any damage?" And I said, No, everything's good. They said, "We don't care."
How'd you get out of there?
Awesome.
How'd you get out of there?
Well, a guy came by in a flatbed, like a wrecker type thing. And by then, a couple of guys came from the airport, older guys. I was only about, 18 or 19.
And no cell phones.
And no cell phones. My brother flew back to Peachtree DeKalb, landed real quick, and was driving back to me. But in the meantime, a couple of the older guys that had a brain from Stone Mountain Airport saw me, and they came to help me because I didn't know what to do. And they said, "Why don't we throw it up on the back of that flatbed, the tail, and we'll just drive it back. It's only 2 or 3 miles away, And
what's the wingspan on that thing? Do you remember?
Oh, probably like a Cub, probably 31 or 2 feet maybe.
Okay.
And we hit a couple of road signs, but thankfully they're just single posters, and it just scratched the wingtip, And but anyhow, we got back close to the airport, but then it went to a narrow road with trees, and it wouldn't have fit. And I'm like, "Man, we don't want to take this thing apart." And my brother got there, and we were actually we were on a what's the name of that road? East Park Place Road. It was just dirt at that time. They were just making it, so it was 4 lanes wide and kind of a circular thing, And the airport was just over this tree line, just like right there, but we couldn't get down the road with it. We didn't want to take it apart. My brother got there and he goes, "Oh man." He said, "I think it was carburetor ice. He started it up. It was running fine." And it was like 95 degrees outside in the afternoon. Atlanta is hot and humid.
Yep.
90% humidity. And the thing iced up. But pulled the carburetor heat. It wasn't connected because we hadn't put it all back together.
Oh, man.
So
So your engine died. You thought it probably had died. But
yeah,
it
I was thinking it's the cylinders or something.
Right.
It did, and even but I pulled the carburetor heat. I could tell it's there. Okay, well, but it was real smooth. It's just. So anyway, I'm thinking, and people were saying, "Well, you're scared." I said, I was only afraid because I was going to get in trouble. Afraid at all of landing. Everything went fine, but
Have you ever crashed a plane?
no,
No. All right.
no, and thank God. Again, in ag aviation, you have your moments,
Yeah.
and things that you don't see or
Never hit a wire yet?
no. Well, my third year, I did hit a wire, and I didn't even know it.
No kidding.
No, I didn't even know it, and I thought I hit a bird here. It's still like that. I'm like, what is that? And when I got on the ground, though, the loader's saying, "What happened here?" I said, "I don't know. What it smashed in the leading edge."
Oh, wow.
And then when I shut it down, I said, "Man, I don't know." And we looked further on the front of the nose of the plane. It was something lashed through like a whip, And I was told at that point, because that was only my third year, I didn't know what usually happened when you hit a wire. I'd never hit one before. And the boss was saying, he goes, "Yeah, there'll be like a whip." And it actually took a gash out of the, not a gash, it dented in an intake or something on the cowling and smashed in the leading edge over here. And there's one other place it kind of whipped through, and I didn't even know it. I mean, I finished the load out and came back and get another load, and I had no idea.
Did they ground the plane?
Yeah, well, we had to file the prop out, and then you have to have the engine checked out and all that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah.
not a good deal with a turbine airplane.
No.
That was my first year in a turbine. It was a turbine brave, and felt really bad and stupid. I was like, man, I
Never saw it.
just didn't see it. So
Have you hit many birds?
oh
doing
yeah,
ag?
yeah. Actually, just this past season, and the season before that, I hit a duck, and with a wingtip on an 802, and they actually found half the duck inside the wingtip. It crushed it from the top. It came in, entered the top, and busted it, a hole in it. And anyhow, we pulled it off and did a quick fix on it, and they found the duck and pulled him out, and and then we fixed it over the winter season. They fixed it up.
I'll be dang.
But yeah, you don't want to hit those things. But
No, of course not.
now Brett has had a duck, or I don't know if I think it was a buzzard or something, come through his windshield.
Oh, no.
Thankfully, it wasn't the glass windshield in front of him. He was in an 802 also. It was the side plexiglass, and it busted through that. And, you get blood and guts. And thankfully, he had his shield down on his helmet, and he just got bird feathers in his mouth and stuff like that.
Wow.
It was pretty messy inside the cockpit, though.
That sounds like it would be.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But, there's all kinds of, exciting
So
moments.
how many planes have you owned?
Owned? Gosh, I don't know. With me and my brother, not that many. Probably, just since I moved here, I've had 3, I guess, but maybe 10 or 12, I guess.
Well, for those that don't even own one, that sounds like a ton.
Yeah, it's fun. We've got a friend back in Atlanta. Back then, he was like an 82 or something like that. But
Man.
amazing guy. He lived on the airport that we flew out of. He could build an airplane in a weekend.
Oh, really?
He would buy these kit planes, and he used to specialize in pits and stuff, and he knows everything there is to know about a pits. And but he would find a kit somebody didn't build.
And
Man, I mean, before you knew it, he had the wings on that thing, a motor on it, and
it was going.
it was going. So
What is your dream plane? What is your dream plane? If money was not an object and you just go get what you want, what would you?
I like a Pitts like I had, and and I would like an S2 though.
Okay, what is that?
It's a 2-seat Pitts, so you could take somebody for a ride. My Pitts was only a single place.
And the S2 is a front and back
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
front and back. I think I would like an S2A or
So
something.
you would take that over a TBM or a Citation or a
You know,
Kodiak or whatever.
every time we've had, me and my brother would buy we had the Cardinal and the Citabria at the same time. We thought, oh, it'd be nice to have a family. We can go on trips. We didn't go, we didn't go on trip. And every time we went to fly, since we were the ones flying, I was like, I don't want to fly the Cardinal. I want to fly the Citabria. So anyhow, we turned that into the aerial photography machine, and it was great for Brett to learn.
Yeah.
And get all his ratings in. So so a TBM, yeah, that would be awesome. Especially since my daughter is still in Atlanta. I'd love to go over there for lunch, and come back, but that's a lot of money and I can't afford that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If money was not the option, you'd still go with the Pitts.
Just for fun factor, yeah.
I'll be dang.
And but yeah, TBM, yeah, if money with no factor, I'd like to have one of those in the hangar too. So
is your 140, is it utility rated?
Back then it might be just it's spin, it's
It's spin able?
It's spin able. So
and can you do spin endorsements too?
It is certified for spins.
But you don't want to spin it.
Something about spinning an 80-year-old airplane. And now this thing is totally gone through. It's just restored last year, and it's got the metal wings on it and everything. So I'm sure
Be good.
It flies really good. But even if it were brand new, if it wasn't made to do spins and like a decathlon, or I'm just really conservative and I don't like to get out there. I'll do the 172s and stuff like that, and they're pretty docile. And but just mentally, to me, I like to be in an aerobatic airplane that does it, and I'll go do it in a Cessna or something. And but I like to have something that's really aerobatic, like a decathlon.
I can't do it in the 206. It's not rated for it.
Right.
But I got a spin endorsement from Kevin Kingsley in that 172.
Yeah. He told me y'all went up.
Is it 54?
Is it a 54? Yeah.
Maybe it's 64. I don't know. It's old.
Yeah.
It's old.
Those are the best flying ones, by the way.
Oh man, it flew great. And the left hand spin was okay, but you almost couldn't keep it in a right hand spin.
Yeah.
It was getting out of a right hand spin was
right.
Don't do anything.
Yeah.
But man, I loved it. That could become addictive.
Yeah.
And Zach said, I can't spin the 206. You probably could without hurting the airplane, but I'd hurt the G1000.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He said I would definitely mess up the avionics.
Oh, no kidding. I thought they would be, bulletproof as far as.
I would too, but.
No kidding.
I guess they don't like spins.
Huh.
So.
Wow.
Anyway, I hope to never find out, but still.
Now they don't have any gyros in there. They just got that.
They got the AHRS.
But,
no, they have the 3 standby instruments that are gyros.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all
so
right.
they'll have.
Yeah.
This G1000 is so new to me, and man, there's a lot to know about just the G1000.
Yeah, there is. There is.
It's incredible.
Yeah, pretty nice.
Well, do you have any inspirational sayings?
Of course, lots of Bible references.
Right. So you are a strong Christian.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And do you preach?
No. I'd get tongue-tied.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. No, I would. I wish I could. That's something I really wish I could get my point across a lot easier. As far as telling, spreading the gospel and stuff like that.
So do you read your Bible daily?
Oh yeah. And sometimes I miss, but yeah, most of the time. And,
what's your method? Because I just go from Genesis to Revelation and I just do it again. Do you do that, or do you follow a pattern?
I've gone through the Bible and read it through like that, but the Old Testament starts wearing on me, and I'll jump back to the New Testament, and then I'll kind of get off. And I like the New Testament a lot better. I think it's easier to understand, but Old Testament is obviously, to me, that's where you learn the character of God, and that's where you learn what you're saved from.
Okay, yeah.
And so it's very important to be up on the Old Testament. So
yeah. I just finished my Bible again about a month ago, so I'm now into Exodus. And when I get to Leviticus and Numbers, I do tend to skim some of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But when you get back into Judges and Kings, and I try to read all those stories again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I like to read it in order if I'm going to do it. Or if I see something that references in the New Testament to the Old Testament, I'll go read that.
Okay.
Brett's, one of his verses from childhood is, what is it? It's Proverbs. The horse is prepared for battle, but victory rests with the Lord. Yep. And that's always been one of our favorite as a family, because you want to do everything you can in your power, but ultimately it's up to God what's going to happen. You know, and so I work hard and I try. I do my part. I work as hard as I can with my strength, but I know that God's outcome may be different. And I keep looking for those signs of like you're going the wrong way, or an open door here. And I tell you what, God has been good to me since a child. He has just put me in the right place at the right time, and it wasn't because of anything I did.
Do you have any big testimonials?
Oh, I got a lot of them, but and I really ought to write these down so I can recall them really quick. But from people, witnessing to people, and I have to confess that usually when God is telling me to do something, I'm going kicking and screaming, But there are many times where I've witnessed to people, and I'm like, oh no, and God will just put that, I don't know, in a crowd or whatever is just bring. I'm like, no, and if you're obedient, you can really watch God work in an amazing way, and you just happen to be, and I just happen to be the guy, because sometimes when you're witnessing, you're just watering the seed or spreading the seed, and you're not going to see anything, and then some guy comes along like me, happens across this guy, and you lead him to Christ, And it's amazing because you see in their eyes that they're hungry. They want to know what you're trying to tell them, So it doesn't even matter. I don't want to say it doesn't matter what I say, but if I mess up or whatever.
You're not going to mess up, really.
No, because God's already prepared in their heart, and you just have to tell them, the gospel of Jesus Christ, and it's amazing to watch God work and see that. And I walk away, I'm just blown away. It's like, wow, that's because it's obviously God, not me, And you're walking away and say, wow, it's just the power of God is amazing. But then the next day, and I've done that, and then the very next day, I've been at work. Now, I'll never forget this. Driving down North Druid Hills, going to deliver some stuff to somewhere around Emory University, and a lot of traffic, and I see a guy on the sidewalk, and I don't know why I felt like I needed to witness to that guy, but I'm busy right now, and I'm working, I'm working. And I'm like, and then he convicts me, and I get, 100 yards past him. I said, well, I've already passed him. There's a lot of traffic. And he reminds me of Tully Circle that comes around here. And I'm like, oh, man, I could have intercepted him. But I was like, God, I'm getting on the freeway now, and I'm heading home, and I missed that opportunity, And, it's you have a mountaintop experience one day, and the next day you're just like, I'm too busy for this, God,
man.
And I went back to work, and I just felt bad the whole rest of the day. And I think the next day I had to go back down there, and boy, don't you know, I was looking for that guy everywhere. But I never saw him again.
Oh man.
And but to see God work in those ways, and then you just turn away from him the next day and say, God, I'm really too busy right now,
Yeah.
That's not good. That's human nature, but, you want to.
One of my big testimonials is, in fact, the reason I get to have a plane is because of a textbook.
Yeah.
And in 1994, we left Colorado, and I was making $11,000 a month, shoeing horses and teaching.
Yeah.
And so in July of 94, I made $11,000. In September of 94, I made $45 in Lamar, Missouri.
Wow.
So it was a big, big difference. We just spent everything we had to buy the place. My first class came in 95. I had one student. I had to have Kelly actually attend school as a student just so I could have more horses get shod.
Yeah.
And I had a 1-ton truck with a diesel motor. I blew the motor, and it was $5,600. And I didn't have, Kelly and I were only eating 2 meals a day. We were, we lived like paupers because we just couldn't afford any extra.
Right.
And so I got insomnia, and I thought, well, Western Horseman's a huge magazine. I'll write some articles, and that'll surely pay for the motor. And so I said, God, just show me what to do. And I wrote 5 articles in one night. I sent them to Western Horseman, and they bought 3 of them. And I didn't know how to write articles. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd been to college, but I'd never written an article. And I thought, well, that's cool. But then I found out that they're going to pay me like $175 or something like that. And they're not going to pay me till the articles come out, which is like 8 months and 10 months and 14 months.
Right.
And so it wasn't much money, but I thought, well, it's $100 and something coming is better than what I got when I'm not. And so I started writing articles for the Farrier's Journal. Ended up with 100 articles in there, but eventually it led to me writing a textbook. And the textbook put us on the map and has been a great earner, which totally changed my life.
Right.
And it would not have happened if I hadn't had the blown motor. Right. So the blown motor led to my desperation, which led to God pointing me the way I needed to go.
Right.
Which led to so much blessings that I never would have expected. So you don't see the hand of God in the blown motor until years later. And you're looking back and you said, wow, it seemed like such a disaster, such a low place.
Yeah.
But the reality of it was the path. You know what I mean?
Right. That's a great testimony. And I've got a lot of testimonies like that, and it's given me the confidence now when I'm going through a hard time. Because I don't want to be, complaining, moaning, and groaning, and crying going through the trial. I want to, now I'm able to, it's like, well, this will be hard, but I know God's going to work it out one way or the other. And if he doesn't, that's okay too, And because you've had, some testimonials like that, and I look back at my life, and
that's the deal. If you look back with that perspective, you can see it happen time and time.
Exactly.
We were able to buy a property. We were able to buy this farm. We were able to all these things. They just don't seem like they could have happened the way they happened without divine intervention.
Right.
And
some of those bad things that you thought were bad at the time, were just a way to get there.
Well, the blown motor being a prime example,
right?
But there, and I have several others. But it's always such a surprise to me to meet somebody who's going through this world without faith.
It's funny when 9/11 happened. A lot of our friends were just terrified. I mean, terrified. And we were in Atlanta at the time, And I just couldn't understand that, the fear that they had that we just did not have. And I don't know. I think it's just your faith in God. And it's kind of like, and a lot of them, well, I'll say they weren't Christian. It's not for me to judge, but they weren't strong Christians.
Right.
And, that really worried them.
Yep. COVID was the same for a lot of
people. Fear, and COVID, same thing, that fear factor that.
Yeah, I didn't get an injection. In fact, I didn't have to wear a mask until we flew down to Gaston's for lunch.
Yeah.
And so that was probably August. And I hadn't worn a mask, and it broke out in March. And so we're 4 or 5 months later. And I get down there to Gaston's, the airport there, and they make me buy a mask at the desk to go to the restaurant.
Yeah.
So I had to pay $3 for a mask.
Oh, wow.
I wore it to sit down and then took it off. I almost left, but I had flown down there to eat, and so I paid for the mask. But I, at least in my world, it was not even a big deal. It was, some people got sick, some people didn't. It was, you just went on.
We went back and forth to Atlanta.
During COVID?
During COVID. And boy, let me tell you, there's some people that didn't appreciate you not wearing a mask. I didn't wear a mask.
Yeah.
And if they didn't allow you in the store, we didn't go in.
Yep. We flew to Brazil, and I had to do a clinic down there, and I had to wear a mask. and Kelly tore the guts out of hers, so it was only a single.
Oh,
But and the flight attendants were like, they were on you. You know,
Yeah.
if you took it off, and so I took some nuts, and I was trying to eat one nut at a time. And the guy come up and told me in Portuguese that that was not acceptable.
oh man.
Well, is there anything you'd like to talk about we haven't talked about?
Other than God's blessed me way more than I deserve, that's for sure. So,
Well, when you get your plane going, I want to get that tail wheel endorsement. So
Okay.
I'll sign up and do that with you. And
that'd be great.
I want to take you up in my 206 and put that thing on the windscreen and see if I can't nail her down a little bit better.
Yeah, it really, and by using that as an initial, student pilot, it just dovetails right into instrument and commercial flight instructor, and even multi-engine. And people look at it. I think some people that I've showed it to, other pilots that already know how to fly and stuff, they feel like it's a training wheel, and it's not at all. If you look at the best pilots in the world, Sean Tucker, Patty Wagstaff, Rob Holland, Goulian, all these guys, what do they have out there on their wingtip?
I don't know.
A sighting device.
Oh, really?
So it shows them what pitch at, or well, they use it a little bit differently because they have to, fly a straight line, either perfectly level or perfectly vertical or a 45-degree line. So that's what that's showing. And on my pits, I have a sighting device so I can know when I'm going straight up or straight down or at a 45. And so they're not, they're very, very useful, and learning to fly this way will save you a lot of time and money from private through commercial and multi-engine and aerobatics and everything.
Nice.
They just really train you to think.
Don't the Blue Angels, I think I've seen the windscreen on them. Don't they have like almost a diagram on their windscreen?
I don't know if the Blue Angels, I hadn't seen that, but yeah, a lot of aerobatic pilots will put it on their canopy
Okay.
instead of having a sighting device out there on the wingtip.
Right.
So
Interesting.
yeah. So that's
Well,
that's a
I'm
good
looking
point.
forward to flying with you again.
Yeah,
I
me
always
too.
had such a good time doing that.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I hope my annual gets done ahead of your
Yeah.
cylinder.
Yeah.
Well, Bruce, you've been a good friend and an amazing guest, and I thank you so much for your time, sir.
All right. Well, I appreciate you and your family, and enjoyed getting to know you guys. So
Yeah, well done. How long do you think we went?
Hmm?
How long do you think that was?
I don't know.
We were 1 hour and 27.
No, really, that long?
Yeah, it went fast, didn't it?
Good. Cut some of it out.
Oh, yeah, we will.